Hello everyone, my name is Ali and this is a video on harvesting. So we're gonna show you how to make a harvestable object and also tell you about the different options you have when doing so. So we already have two defined here, but we're gonna create a new one. So new harvestable, and we're gonna call this one wood tree. Okay, so next thing we want to do is generate a prefab for it. And what we're gonna do is we're gonna use one of the objects already within the scene. So first of all, let's just move this object. I'm just going to copy the position of this, save some time. Okay, like so. So again, this capsule collider is just what the user has to click to interact with it. So we can change that in a second. But what we're going to do is we're going to use one of these trees in the scene. So I'm just going to copy and paste it, and then make it a child of our harvest prefab and reset its position like so. There we go. So we could also add some maybe like particle effects just to show that it is harvestable. That is up to you. For now I'm just going to quickly add some kind of particle effect to this. Okay, like so. So now we have a little particle effect on it. To distinguish it, we're going to change the way the capsule collider is sized for this. So what we're going to do is just increase the radius and the height and move it up a bit like so. Okay, and make sure it's a trigger, and that is a prefab setup. So now we can actually edit the options within the harvesting interface. So with any harvestable object, you're going to have two scenarios. The first scenario is an object where the player can get a certain amount of items from them, and once they have those items, that harvestable will disappear. So that is the default option with regenerates harvestables set to false. The other scenario is when regenerate harvestables is set to true. In that case, the harvestable have a maximum amount of materials at any given time, and as the player takes them, it'll be able to regenerate more harvestables and add back to the pile. So let's cover the first scenario. So in this scenario, we're going to say any harvestable wood tree is going to have anywhere from 5 pieces of wood to 10 pieces of wood. You can also change it to be from 1 to 5 or from 100 to 500. But the point of the matter is it's going to have a limited amount, and eventually once it's gone, it's gone. Now if it regenerates them, then you can set the time before it regenerates more materials, how many it will regenerate after that period of time, and how many it can have at a maximum at any given time. So for example, we can say every 5 seconds it will add 10 to the pile, and the max it can have at any time is 100. Alright, so the next thing we want to cover is what item it is that we're harvesting. So it's either going to be a normal item, which you can find in the item database, or it's going to be a quest item, which you can find in the quest item database. So if it's a normal item, you can see we have all our normal items here, whereas if it's a quest item, we can choose which quest you have to have accepted in order to loot from it, and what the quest item harvested is going to be. So for this case, we're going to just do a normal item, and it's going to be wood that we're going to be obtaining. Now as wood is a material and can be stacked, you can acquire a min quantity to a max quantity every time you harvest it. So for example, we can set the min quantity to 5 and the max quantity to 10, and every time we harvest it, we'll get a quantity of wood between those two values. Or you could set it just to 1 and 1, which means you only get 1 piece every time, or you can set to 5 and 5, which means you'll get 5 pieces every time. But just to make it more interesting, you can vary the amount they get between two numbers. You can also have a harvesting sound, so a sound that's played each time you harvest an item from it. So we'll use this one, see how that sounds when we test it. And you can also choose how long it takes to harvest each time, so 5 seconds or maybe 6 seconds, etc. You can also require a certain player level to harvest it, so maybe the player has to be above level 10. And you can also require a trait level to harvest it, so if you have a trait called harvesting, maybe you want to require a high level harvesting for like more rare trees, etc. And we also have gains on kill, which shouldn't be gains on kill, it should be gains on harvest. But you can gain experience, skill points, or trade experience. So for example, we have the harvesting trait, so maybe you want to add 5 harvesting experience every time you harvest an item from it. And finally, you can choose animations that the different classes will play. So for the Warlord, for example, if we go to the Warlord class, we can borrow one of the animations, maybe attack 2. And you can type that here, like so. So the way this is set up right now is it can have a maximum of 100 wood at any time. Every 5 seconds it will regenerate 10 more. And every time we harvest from it, we'll get between 5 and 10 wood. Now we also have one more option for harvesting. We can either add the harvested item to the inventory, or we can spawn them on the ground. So in the first example, we'll add them to the inventory straight away. And so let's test this out. Alright, so we'll go up to this tree, right click it, and we can begin harvesting. So we can see it has 100 remaining, and after each time it'll give us a certain amount. And obviously it's regenerating the amount of wood faster than we can mine it. But you can see in our inventory we have the wood collecting up, and we are also gaining experience for it. So if we hit stop, we can stop harvesting. And let's customize it again and see what differences we can find. So we're going to change it now. Instead of regenerating the amount, we're going to just have a min quantity and max. So we're going to say between 10 and 15. Well, let's say 10 and 25. And let's change the quantity gains to between 2 and 5. Let's make it harvest a bit faster. And yeah, that's it. And we could change the animation as well, why not? So now if we go to the game and go to the tree again, so it has 16 wood, which is between 15 and 25. There we go. And now once it runs out, the tree will disappear. Like so. This has been a video on harvesting and harvestable objects. If you'd like to learn more about RPG All-in-One, check out the links below in the description and have a lovely day.